position!
Released in 2003. This epic historical drama was directed by Edward Zwick and is set in Japan during the late 19th century, a time of significant change as the country transitioned from feudalism to modernization. Here's a detailed summary of the film's story. The film is set in the 1870s, during Japan's Meiji Restoration, which aimed to modernize the country and eliminate traditional practices in favor of westernization. The samurai class, once the ruling military elite, finds itself in decline as the new imperial army is formed to enforce the government's policies. The story begins with Nathan Algren, a disillusioned and traumatized former soldier, haunted by his experiences in the American Civil War. He is recruited by the Japanese government, which seeks to modernize its military with the help of Western expertise. Algren is initially indifferent and skeptical about Japan, but he takes the job, seeing it as a way to escape his troubled past. Algren travels to Japan, where he begins training the new army. However, during his initial encounters with the samurai, he realizes that he is not just fighting an enemy. He is participating in the eradication of a culture he starts to admire. He is soon thrust into actual battle against Katsumoto and his fellow samurai, leading to a devastating encounter where many of his recruits are killed. During the battle, Algren is captured by Katsumoto's forces. Instead of killing him, Katsumoto offers him a chance to learn about their culture and philosophy. Algren gradually transitions from an outsider to someone who deeply respects the samurai way of life. He trains alongside them, immerses himself in their customs, and begins to form a bond with Katsumoto and his sister, Taka. As Algren assimilates into samurai culture, he grapples with the idea of honor, loyalty, and the differences between the old ways and the new. Katsumoto fights to protect his people and way of life against the encroaching modernization represented by Omura and the imperial government. The tension culminates when Omura, eager to establish a strong military force and aligned with Western interests, decides to launch a full-scale attack on the samurai stronghold. Algren becomes a bridge between both worlds, but his loyalties are tested as he struggles with the push for modernization against the preservation of traditional values. He ultimately decides to side with the samurai, fighting alongside Katsumoto in the climactic battle against the imperial army. The film reaches its emotional and dramatic peak during this battle, where the samurai, outmatched by modern weaponry, fight valiantly for their beliefs and way of life. Despite their bravery, the samurai are overwhelmed, and many, including Katsumoto, are killed. However, their final stand becomes a symbol of honor, bravery, and resistance against the loss of cultural identity.